Hello, Cohort 2, and welcome to the fall semester. I wanted to take you through a few things. Let me start with just a couple of general things, then I'm going to go specifically into the next 2 weeks for the design course. On the screen right now, I put this into student preview mode, so this is what you see on Blackboard. A couple general things. There is the video that Linda and I had posted to give you an overview of the semester. You can play it here. I hope you had a chance to already watch that. And what I just recently posted is a new video. I did a quick interview with Dr. Martin Reardon. Martin's you have not met him yet, so this is the purpose of the video, so you can meet him. He's going to be working with me on a small aspect of the design course this semester with you, and then he'll work with you again next semester with the design course. So he's a professor in our department. He does a lot of work on research design, action research, so I think he's going to be a person that you can rely on and find helpful in your design course. These are the main buttons on the left-hand side, navigation, readings. All the readings will be in this fall 2018 readings bin. For the design course, for example, that I'm leading, all of the readings that you'll have this semester are there. It looks a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to do some web reading for some of these, and some of them are very short, and a lot of them are just good resources. You can click on them and read them right on here, or you can download them and save them to your computer. So Linda also has her and Chris have the readings in the equity course folder here. What else? Let me talk briefly about the syllabus. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit. Fall 2018 is here. The first thing that we have posted in there that I sent out a notification on is the syllabus. And then we have two folders here, one for each course. I'm going to dive into this design one in just a moment. But let me just take a second to talk about the syllabus, because the video that Linda and I created, we didn't have a chance to go over this because it wasn't done yet. It's very comprehensive. We know that, but we've also learned our lessons that you need to, because we're online and you don't have access to us in face-to-face all the time, that you need something very specific to go to. So this is definitely specific. This is an overview. So if you jump on the syllabus and you want to, sorry about these messages coming up. If you want to jump to the week of the 8th, talking about the Claude Steele work, you can click on this and it'll bring you right down to that week there. So we hope you find that helpful. These are the essential questions and the outcomes. We spent time to make sure that they were thoughtful and precise, so we do want you to read through those and look at them. Overview of all the different readings and the books that you have. One note for the design course, I've copied and put into the readings chapters 5 through 7 of the Creswell book. I'm going to bring that book out to all of you when I see you. Nora, I will mail that to you, since I'm not going to see you this fall. But this actually, I had to change it. The chapters that I photocopied from the 4th edition of the book, but actually there's a 5th edition now that I have the books. I bought them for all of you. It's going to be one of those books I think you'll use throughout the program. We'll be using a couple of videos. The links are there. And I guess, that we try to post, let you know of all the different assignments. The big picture about the assignment is this, that the equity work that you're going to be doing is really a lot based on the virtual carousel and the Flipgrid, engaging in issues of equity. And not a lot of writing, because the main thrust of all your writing will be reserved for the design course and 2 big artifacts, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So please stay up to date. I think you should make a plan for the syllabus, look through it very closely, find out when you have time, when you're going to have to, read ahead. And I think that'll be helpful. So in a moment here, I'm going to focus in on the first 2 weeks of the course, the design course, and give you an overview of that. Let me just quickly say at the bottom here, there's some specific dates about how the semester comes to a close. So you're going to definitely want to take a look at that. And we are going to have a webinar in the middle of the semester, a live webinar that we'll tape. While I'm taking the lead on the design course, if there's any times you want to bounce ideas off of Linda, by all means, we work as a team. So we're not stepping on toes. If you want one-on-ones, if you want both of us to talk to you at the same time, we can set something up for that as well. So as you proceed through the equity course with Linda and Chris, but also please understand that one of the links that you're going to create is to make sure that your focus of practice that you choose and the project that you're going to do is rooted in an issue of equity, and you're going to have to make that justification. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to say just in general. Now let me talk specifically about the course that I'm leading, the design course, fall 2018. In the syllabus, it is broken down week to week. However, when you go into the fall semester here and you click on the design course, you will see that I have clustered these, not week to week, but in chunks. That is because the research identity chunk or cluster or module, whatever you want to call it, actually runs for 2 weeks. And this is what you're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. And so I want to specifically talk about that. Linda's course with Chris isn't going to start till September 10th. So you can focus in for the next 2 weeks on this research identity cluster. I want to say one thing about each of these clusters. You will have a video like this for each of these. Now, all the things I will say in the video will be included in the syllabus, but I find it, the students have told me they found it helpful to have a video that does that. So, so this video here that I'm going to kind of dive into now will be the intro video for the research identity cluster. When we talk about the focus of practice starting September 10th for 2 weeks, I will create another video, post it with a weekly memo, more than likely Sunday, September 9th, so that you have an idea and an overview of that cluster. Martin is going to be doing this 2-week action research, and so he'll post a video, and then I'll post videos for these last 2 here as well. So let's dive into the next 2 weeks. So let me start with the end in mind for these 2 weeks. There's 2 things that you need to accomplish for the design course. The first is to read one of these 4 articles, and you can see which group you are in. These are the same group that Linda had created for your critical friends. Here are the listings: Michael, Mary, Layla, Marima will be reading the Tony Brake piece, and you can read from left to right who's going to read what. The task now is to, we talked about having a Google Doc, an open source Google Doc that you can use throughout the semester. There's a ton of readings just this semester, so how are you all going to keep it in one place? Well, you can do it individually, but if you can crowdsource it, boys, that can be a lot easier. So the hope here is for you to create, and it sounds like I saw some of the emails go back and forth, is to create an open source Google Doc that you'll send to us, Linda and I, so we can see it. But this group here, Michael, Mary, Layla, and Marima, will crowdsource this week the Tony Brake piece. And so each of them will go in there and put, the APA citation, the notes, key quotes from the book with page numbers. So if anybody in the course wants to use it, they can into that document. I will, and I have it just occurred to me that I have not done this yet, but within this research identity link here, I will post in here an example annotated bibliography. I think you already set it up, and I think I already sent it to you, but I'll post another example for you as well. So the thought is by Sunday, September 2nd, you will all have crowdsourced it, and you can add other readings as you go through. The Mills, the Rigby piece, if you want to start that, but the thought is you're all going to do this. So for some specific assignments, we'll tell you to make sure that you're who's in charge of actually starting that cluster or putting the reading in, but you're going to have to do this on your own and self-organize as well. So that's the task this week, the first week. The second week is we did not do the research journeyline with you this past summer because we ran out of time. But we want to honor your own research that you've done in your work. We know you all have. And so the idea here, and again, writing an analytic memo should be happening throughout the semester as a diary of what you're doing, but there'll be specific ones. I know there are two this semester. This is one of them that you'll be doing for this course, and Linda will be having to do one for the equity course that really ties into the dissertation. But the task here is to create your own research journey line and to write a short memo. And you can refer to the different articles, and that's why the annotated bibliography is going to be helpful, because you're not going to have time to read all of them, but you'll be able to dig into one and then refer to the others. So what I have here inside the research identity folder is the research journey line example that you will be using, and let me show you what that looks like, if this allows me. So you can download this from Blackboard, and you can create your own if this doesn't work for you, but essentially look at the different clusters of chronological clusters from childhood to young adult to current, and different kinds of research experiences you've had, and what kind of importance they are, and try to unpack those in this analytical memo. How have you been a researcher, formally and informally, as an undergraduate, graduate, and certainly as a practitioner? When you're done with that, you will write the memo. This is for the following week, and it's due September 9th. And you will create the memo by creating a memo and putting in the image within the memo so I can see it, and then you'll have text around it. I put 500 word maximum. There's, if you can say something real smart in 200 words, that's awesome, and it's less for us to read. If you need 600 words, that's fine too. Just just be reasonable. We're not looking for a 50 word essay. I feel like that principal in Breakfast Club, but we're not looking for a 2,000 word essay either. So let me show you how to upload your memo, because this is something you'll have to do with all your courses throughout the whole program, with Linda as well. When something's due in week 1, of course, you'll just send us a link to the Google Doc. But in week 2, for me, you have to upload a memo. So what you do is you click on the assignment here, and you can see that I have a point value because it mandates that I put points in. Due date is September 9th. I put a date later than that because I don't want it to close because of the time changes. But be cognizant that I'll start downloading those on the due date. So you can do this in 2 ways. You can actually click here and write your submission here, but I suggest you don't do that because formatting's tough and it's going to be really hard to put that image in. So I would create a Word doc with your essay with the journey line embedded, and then hit this button here to browse your computer and upload. Don't forget to hit the submit button here. So that's how you upload an assignment. I know, for example, if I jump back to Fall 18 and go into the equity course, Linda's already started putting her stuff in, and she's got an assignment here as well. So it'll be the same process for you to upload. You'll click on it, and you'll browse your computer to upload your assignment. So that's how you upload assignments, and that's how you're going to upload them in all your courses. But in the design course specifically for this second week. So just jumping back, quick review. These are your next 2 weeks of the design course. You're going to read one of these articles. If you want to read more than one, that's fine. Take a look at what Linda has written down there to take advantage of her telling you what's coming up. You will, by September 2nd, post. Make sure that the annotated bibliography is up and running and we can see it, and that at the very minimum, the 4 articles have been crowdsourced so that we can review them, but more importantly, that all of you can benefit from reading those. And then the week of September 3rd, I want you to go right into your analytic memos. So creating your research journey line and writing your memo, and then September 9th, you will post those up on Blackboard like I showed you just previously. And then the week of September 10th, I will be sending out a separate video specifically about the next 2 weeks focused on the focus of practice. Like I said, it's important that you go through the entire syllabus and plan ahead. You will see, especially in the design course that I'm leading, that there are 2 main artifacts. There are 2 things that the big writing that you will have, and it's very important you keep pace with this because it's two of the chapters of your dissertation. The first is actually chapter 3, and this is a chapter that you're really focusing on the place, the setting in which you're doing this work, the context, and the people. Now, to write the people part, it's based off your CPR group. So the quicker you start to identify who that group is and who you're going to be working with, the better. And I know that it goes hand in hand with your focus of practice and what you choose to do, but you really need to dig in. And by the end of September, your focus of practice and your CPR group really need to be aligned because you need to start meeting with them. That you'll see in the design course, there's two big learning exchanges you need to conduct. One is to meet with the CPR group to have them do a journey line to get to know them, not necessarily a research journey line, but just to who they are, because then you can use that to embed and as you write their biographies in this section. And the second learning exchange you'll have is going to be more about unpacking the focus of practice, utilizing the fishbone, which will go into your big writing for the semester, and that's chapter 1. We give you about a month toward the end of the semester just to write this, but there are chunks of it you can write throughout. So once you have identified your focus of practice, you can start writing it early. You'll see how it breaks down step by step. We try to be very specific in these templates, giving you examples of what goes in these different areas. So I'll have a different video that dives into these, but I just wanted you to see this, and it's already posted on Blackboard, both of these templates, because this is what you'll do this semester. Everything's leading toward this. But we want you to really think about that focus of practice early. Again, if you want a one-on-one with Linda or I at any time, that's great. We're going to meet a bunch of you in the Bay Area in September. We're hoping that we nail down your focus of practice and you talk through your CPR group by then. We'll do the same thing with the group in September as we go to Georgia and to Jordan. And then in later October, we'll be doing that in Asia. But that might be coming a little too late for the folks in Asia. So, we may have to do some one-on-ones on Skype, and same with you, Nora. So I know you're thinking about your big ideas, your big bubbles, but we really need to focus. It's got to be a very specific focus of practice for you to engage in this work. So I'm just checking my notes here. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. I'm sorry for the length of the video. I just want to be comprehensive. The hope is that the next videos coming up will be just very specific to the next 2 weeks. So I will create a new video posted on September 9th, just about the 2 weeks of the focus of practice. If anything's confusing the syllabus or even my ramblings here, please shoot me an email or to Linda. You can talk to Chris and to Martin, of course, but I would reserve that for specific aspects of the course. Big idea, big questions should come to Linda and I. We could do Skypes. I just had a Skype with one of our cohort 1 students this morning, had one last night. So we're open to finding times, even if it's just for 5-10 minutes. Utilize the Facebook page because a lot of questions can be answered there as well. So I think that's it. I hope I covered everything, and have a great start to this semester, diving into the research identity 2 weeks of the design course.